Cops, Tom Anderson, Kyle Hurst, Joseph Olowu have all signed new deals with Rovers in the past few weeks. Just how pleased are you to get those tied up for the foreseeable future?
Yeah, really pleased. I think it's something that we've been working on for 3-4 months, so it hasn't just come about. I think it's important for us to plan ahead into next season as well and try and build a squad that we feel can stay together and compete at this level.
You've been a player here where you've signed your own contract probably in June at times. How big a difference will it make for players having it done early, particularly for Tom, who's had his injury problems, and for Joseph, who's had his as well, but at an age in Joseph at 23 where you imagine a lot of clubs will be sort of having a look at him given his form recently?
Yeah, we had interest in January for players that have signed their new deals, so it's important that we prove to them that we want them, we value them, and from their perspective, it was reciprocated. I think a lot of the comments, in the interviews, it was about what we're trying to do, the environment that we're creating, and what Danny and the coaching staff deliver on a daily basis. I think, if I was a player signing a contract here, I would definitely be mindful of how much I can improve and develop as a player and potentially move forward with this club or another club.
Yeah, Tom in particular made it pretty clear that since Danny's come in, that's swayed his decision an awful lot. Coming into the last year of your contract at a club you've been at for 5-6 years, maybe thinking about heading for pastures new, but Danny certainly had an impact on him.
Yeah, like I said, I think as a senior pro, there's a lot of emphasis on him, on Tommy Rowe. We haven't got too many more than that in their 30s, 29, 30. John Taylor, who hasn't played as many games as we would like, but they have a responsibility at the club. And to be fair to Tom, being club captain, it's massive. So for him to sign, and then we can build a team round Tom Anderson, Tommy Rowe, players like that we feel can help the young players almost understand what it takes every single day to win. It's not easy being a professional footballer, and especially one that's sort of 20, 21, 22, 23. I think I go back to when I was 21. I was literally just leaving Newcastle. I'd experienced 2 loan spells, but I had to sort of apply my trade at this level. I got relegated out of the Football League at 22. So I was probably performing as inconsistent as anybody at that age. So I do understand that, it's not going to be an overnight fix. This is going to take time, and them senior players play a huge part in the young players' development.
And in Joseph, Danny's spoken a lot about his character on and off the field, the way he carries himself. He goes out into the community. Doncaster's not his home naturally, but it's become his second home. Those are the type of people you want around the place to drive the club forward, aren't they?
Yeah, 100%. I think when we're recruiting, it's recruiting to our identity. I spoke about it in Meet the Owners. I think, it's not just about, although it's the most important thing, what happens on the pitch. It's about how they are as people, and we feel we've got probably one of the best squads in the league in terms of how they represent the club. And Joseph's a shining example. He's been nominated for awards in the foundation for what he does off the pitch, and we've got a few of them that will go above and beyond to play a part in the community.
In terms of Hurst, he wasn't out of contract this summer, but it shows that, again, forward planning. He was coming into the last year of his contract next season, and the form he's had, 7 goals this season, it's not long, is it, before the teams in the higher divisions start to look at him and think, he's out of contract next summer, let's have a play and see if he's available.
Yeah, and he's again probably one of the shining lights in terms of performances, output for his age, his first sort of season in professional football. And yeah, we wanted to reward him with a new contract. His agent and everybody involved with Kyle has been absolutely brilliant. The support network around him are so supportive. They understand where he's at, and we want to show him that we value him as a player and as a person. And he's another person I think that's benefited from the style of coaching and how we want to do things. And I think moving forward into next season and the season after, I think we'll see huge improvements in his development.
How big is it the players are talking about the impact Danny's had and the way he sort of goes about his business both on the training ground and going into a match day, because for you who worked so hard on that appointment and getting him through the door, that must be sort of satisfactory for you when you're looking at it and it's rewarding.
Yeah, because I think when you're looking to appoint a head coach, manager, I think that's the first thing you look at, in my opinion, is what do the squad need, what do they want. You know, if we bring somebody in and then all of a sudden nobody wants to sign, you've made the wrong decision. So it's reassuring. Everybody wants to win games, everybody wants to perform. That's what we're trying to do every single game, and unfortunately that doesn't happen, at this level. With what we're working with collectively, resources as a club, it's difficult, it's really hard and it's demanding, but internally we know where we're at, we know what we want to achieve and what's success for us this season, and that's where we're headed, that's what we're aiming for. Still
one or two bits in the pipeline potentially for some of the lads with their contract coming to an end this summer?
Yeah, so there's 2 or 3 contracts out there that have been offered. We're just still negotiating with them players, and like you say, I think it's really important that we go into the summer understanding what the nucleus of the squad looks like, so then we can recruit in the summer and build on what we've already got, which we feel like is a strong group.
In terms of the campaign at the minute, 9 games to go, injuries are starting to bite hard, aren't they? We saw on Tuesday night lads who've come in Ravs and Keelan sort of cramping up towards the end as a result of lack of match time, and when you're missing probably 6 or 7 players that would go into that starting 11, that can have an effect.
Yeah, effectively you're missing 40%, 50% of your team, and these lads have played most of the games this season, so it's an opportunity for other players to come in and stake a claim, get experience, but at the same time it's really difficult on the team, so you tend to see dips in performance and inconsistent results, but it's part and parcel of football. We have to be strong enough as a group collectively to understand and get perspective on where we're at, and look for positives. I think it's a great opportunity for players to come in and almost put into practice what they do on the training pitch. There's nothing that can replicate a first team football match for this football club. So, for the younger players, Liam Ravenhill, Bobby's come back. There's opportunity for them to stake a claim and to build or start building their careers.
Yeah, because in the long run, given you mentioned the resources that are available to you, you need everybody that's in the squad, whether they're playing every weekend or amongst the squad on the bench. They need to be ready to play and know the style, the role they're coming into. Yeah,
and I think that's been evident, in the last couple of games. We lost Jono, emergency loan goalkeeper comes in. He's not had time to understand how we want to play. I think there's a lot of emphasis on playing out from the back and how we want to build play. And if that isn't right and you don't have anybody that understands, I think if you'd speak to Jonathan Mitchell, he'd tell you how long it took him to get to a stage where he felt comfortable and confident in what he was doing. So we know where we're at, and it's really sort of, I think, understandable in terms of the other night at Crawley. I think it's testament to how organised we are as a group. The character of the players, in how much effort and commitment. We've seen the GPS data that these lads are churning out, and you can't do that all the time. So it's like you said, people have to come in, share the load, and like you say, it'll be tough from now to the end of the season, but we've got to try and make the best of it and try and get as many performances and results as we can.